According to the Humane Society, about 70% of domestic violence victims say their abusers also target or threaten their pets.
That can make victims afraid to leave them behind in dangerous situations. News Channel 9's Alana LaFleur shows us what Chattanooga agencies do to help both victims and their animals.
Josh, Stephanie, McKamey Animal Center offers emergency boarding for pets of domestic violence victims while they figure out a place to stay after leaving abusive situations. The center says in some cases that can make the difference between life and death.
Come here, buddy.
Jazz works at the Family Justice Center. Ruben Moriente trains him as a therapy dog to help domestic violence survivors and their children.
What Jazz and Marty do basically is just bring them to a level where they can just feel open to opening up and discussing the issues that they might need to talk about.
Therapy dogs and other animals can have a big impact in the lives of those affected by domestic violence. In the last 3 months, the Partnership for Families, Children, and Adults says workers helped 4 people initially afraid to leave abusers because they didn't want to leave pets behind. McKamey Animal Center says that's why it offers temporary emergency boarding for pets of domestic violence victims.
It can mean the difference between leaving that household or staying in it, or worse yet, leaving that animal behind in that household to either be tortured, abandoned, or even killed.
Jamie McAloon is McKamey's executive director and says the center takes in animals for up to 10 days. The shelter doesn't have any pets in emergency boarding right now, but in the past year, workers sheltered dozens escaping domestic violence.
Animals are often the first tool used to control those family members. You control that animal, and the family members, especially children, will comply at the, for fear of that animal being, either gotten rid of or hurt.
McKamey is a partner agency with the Family Justice Center, working together to find solutions during the toughest times.
It's one less thing they've got to worry about when they've got so much to worry about. I mean, they're trying to figure out how they're going to shelter themselves and their children.
Yesterday, Chattanooga Mayor Andy Burke issued a proclamation officially making October Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city. Stephanie.
Alana, thank you. To report domestic violence and abuse, you can call 911. You can also find a link on our website, newschannel9.com, for additional resources.
Tennessee's Education Commissioner Candace McQueen testified before the Senate Education Committee today. McQueen talked about new plans to hold Tennessee schools accountable under the Every Student Succeeds Act. This includes ensuring students get a well-rounded education.
We will identify focus schools based on how well each school serves English learners, students with disabilities, and economically disadvantaged students, as well as the individual performance of all 6 racial and ethnic groups present in Tennessee.
The ESSA ended federal rules on states to adopt Common Core standards.
3 fires broke out in Lookout Valley last month. Tonight, we have an update on 2 women who were pulled from those homes and taken to burn centers. 2 weeks ago, a fire broke out here on Judy's Lane. 1 woman inside taken to a hospital in Georgia. She's still there and is still seriously injured. Then 3 days later, a fire happened here on Centro Street in Lookout Valley. The woman inside was critically injured, but is now back home. CFD says both fires appear to be accidental.
In the days and weeks that follow the Las Vegas massacre, the debate over gun laws will intensify in Washington.
Calvin Sneed joins us with that and what else is coming up at 6. Calvin.
Stephanie, Josh, we talked to a gun store owner in Chattanooga today. He says he does typically see a spike in gun sales after mass shootings like Las Vegas. At 6, we'll tell you why he says it depends on who our commander-in-chief is. That also affects those sales. Plus,
officials say the Bradley County Courthouse will be closed until next year because of a fire. I'm Hannah Lawrence. Coming up, we'll tell you where you need to go for car registration and court.
Those stories and more coming up on News Channel 9 at 6. Josh, Stephanie, back to you.
Calvin Sneed, thank you, sir. Coming up in this show, taking the initiative and working towards excelling in schoolwork and athletics.
Later in the show, we'll show you 2 students that are able to make the plays and the grades.
And join us tomorrow night for the Your Voice, Your Future Town Hall, the patriotism protest, pro athletes versus the president. You can watch it on our website, newschannel9.com, starting at 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
And another gorgeous day locally, but where we're watching for our next big weather change could be far to our south. That dashed line is a surface trough in the Caribbean Sea. How that could impact our weekend right after the break.